The crew boarded the party's galleon, and among them were surprisingly several familiar faces. Bogram and company, as well as some of the sailors who the party had previously met at the Jaunty Ladle Tavern, had joined the crew. Tess and Heltheus returned below deck to examine the mirror more closely along with their new feline friend. Overall, a sense of wariness of the isolation of the ocean had washed over the party as they had pushed off from Mekurdika and into the greater briny expanse. Welcome back to New Delancia, our Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition campaign. I'm so happy that we're back after several weeks of being off. Let's go ahead and get right down to business here. I'm going to go ahead and swap the scene over to the galleon. Hopefully that switches for everybody. Where at the end of the last session, like I had mentioned in the intro, Tess and Heltheus had went below deck and into the sort of secret chamber to closely analyze or to kind of further examine the mirror. Everyone else, Rec, I believe you were above deck, along with Serene and Ian Fair. You had returned to your room. Um, Misku, you were in the looks like in the mess on deck two. Valphalin currently at the helm, and looks like we're currently on first shift. Let me get some appropriate music going here. Welcome to the open ocean. So the hopefully that's not too loud for everybody. Mekurdika had sort of drifted off into the distance behind you. It is a little loud. Okay. See if I can fix that, perhaps, maybe. Hopefully. Better? No? Did that work? I don't know if that worked. Okay. As the ship continues to sail away from the Mekurdikan dock, it fades into obscurity behind you. Yeah, and a very light fog just seems to sort of fade off into the distance. Uh, Antarius circles back around and starts to sort of march down the main deck. As he passes by you, Wreck, he sort of mentions, be working in 4-hour shifts. I didn't include you and the rest of the party on the duty roster. I figured you had other research related items and other such things to tend to. But if you would like to be included in the duty roster, please let me know. Could always use the helping hand.
Yeah, I'm up. I don't reason. Could be.
Oh, say, Rack, you're kind of breaking up a little bit.
Can you hear me at all?
Yeah, I
Your
can hear you.
volume a little bit lower than usual.
Yeah, a little bit.
I was gonna say I don't do research, but I can run a rope. I can cook. You tell me where you need me.
Oh, very well. Let me take a look at the current roster as I have it laid out, and give me a day or two. I've got um, my own paperwork to do, as it were, or a trade vessel after all. I'll get back to you. I'll let you know. Thank you. And Darius continues on down the line, um, and proceeds up toward the aft castle. Whoop, there we go. There's my trigger. I think those triggers are working today. So he proceeds up to the aft castle where Valphalin is navigating the ship. He kind of pulls out a sort of smaller version of, he pulls out some piece of parchment, rather large, and looks down at the compass next to the next to the helm. Yeah, you might not have visibility of it at current. So Tess, I think you were actually, you would like put down like a bedspread and everything below deck. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Um, so we're probably getting pretty late into the first day. You guys had just embarked on this. It's very likely that there will be stints, perhaps some days or some weeks, in which there's not really much going on. The ship is kind of just sailing and doing its thing. Um, so it's really up to you guys what you're doing during these stints of downtime. But with that in mind, what would you all be doing?
Tess is going to obsessively hang out near the mirror and continue her research on the plague. Every now and then, she'll surface to get some food or some drink, but for the most part, she'll probably be in this mirror area or wandering the ship and taking a look at the sights and sounds.
All right.
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
All right, then Rec is going to basically go about putting his name on the duty roster, trying to learn about the ship and how they do things and how they work. Otherwise, he's
You cut off right at the end of that. Otherwise, he's gonna.
said otherwise he's going to try to do the duties
Okay.
and then otherwise be doing trying to fish and get a sense of how the boat works.
Perfect. How about you, Misku?
Miscu's going to rotate between going up top deck and doing some training in her free time. She's going to just take practice swings in the air, just to keep herself, physically alert. And then if she's not training, she's just going to be looking off the side of the boat, just smoking, and taking naps.
Are you intent on doing this training alone, or did you want to try to pull someone from the general crew to train with you?
If someone approaches Miscu wanting to train, then she wouldn't say no, but for the most part, she's not going to approach anyone about it.
It's likely that other crewmates would approach you for such a thing because they are also, wanting to keep sharp on their combat abilities, that sort of thing. Because there are all sorts of dangers on the ocean, as far as pirates and eventually the terror of the Jinduin or the Jindan orcs.
Yeah, Miscu will take on all challengers, especially if they want to practice grappling. Miscu will tussle on the top deck.
Okay. Serene, how about you? What are you doing during your downtime?
So, Serene will occasionally, go down to eat and stuff like that. But for the most part, she doesn't want to be like cooped up, in rooms or anything like that. She's not really used to that. So she's going to spend a lot of time on top deck, probably very interested in the way that the ship works. Um, and like maybe like paying attention and like watching, you know, the crew, and when she um, you know, is able to, she might you know, see if she can help in some kind of way.
Okay. Okay. Ian Fear, what about you during downtime?
So during the daytime and through basically anytime the sun is up, Ian Fear is going to be studying the Dwarven language to try to make himself proficient in it. And during the evening times, especially at meal gathering, Ian Fear will basically be trying to entertain the crew with uh, some sort of charlatan style magic tricks.
Right. Right. Ian Fear, I'd like you to go ahead and roll a performance check for me. Yeah, go ahead and roll a performance check, please. $14. Very nice. Thank you. All right.
Can I add one thing real quick?
Sure.
Anytime it's getting later in the evening or there's a large congregation of people in the dining hall, Miss will be, or down in the bar area, Miss will be defending her arm wrestling title.
Miss, could you go ahead and roll a strength check for me?
Features.
And if you have anything that would allow you advantage or other such, you may also use that.
Yes, I'm going to be rolling with grappling, so advantage.
Okay. 15. Got it. All right. All right. Anybody else? Anybody else on actions during downtime? Yolanthe, you know what? I totally missed you. So you've been down here with Tess. Do you intend to stick with Tess during your downtime, or what do you intend to be doing?
Yolanthe will stay very close to either Antarius or Tess, depending on who's where. Staying in cat form as long as she can until she needs to find a place to hide and rest. In which case, she'll find somewhere secluded to disappear for her meditation.
Okay. So it's never been a problem for you to stay in any sort of animal form for long periods. Really, the most tiring part about being or taking a form is actually just the act of taking the form itself. Um, so you've been known to take an animal form and exist in that form for weeks. No problem, absolutely no problem with that. It's the actual action of taking the form or shifting back that is very exhausting.
Yeah. In her case, it's a lot more difficult to shift back.
Yeah, definitely a lot more to like will yourself back into a larger form than what you are. So yeah, you definitely stay close to Antarius or Tess. What are the conditions upon which you would switch between the two? Whether they're below deck, above deck? Do you have a condition? You mentioned like where they are.
She had gone with Tess because she was curious about the mirror and wanted to know a bit more about it. But she also wants to keep an eye on the crew in general. So if Tess is down with the mirror, she'll generally come and hang out with her to see what's going on there. But if Antarius is, out and about wandering the ship, she'll kind of keep him company slash keep a watchful eye.
Okay. So you probably avoid the upper deck at all costs being a cat because it's very often that ocean sort of just sprays onto the top deck. And being a cat, you absolutely are disgusted by being wet. So it's likely you stick to the lower decks and the shadows that brings.
Exactly.
Okay. So to that end, would you please roll a stealth check? And you may, looking through your features real quick here. I'm going to go ahead and say roll this with advantage, just because you are, you're getting pretty keen to like where everything is on the ship, and you're starting to realize the areas that you can sort of duck into to hide or, get some privacy otherwise. So go ahead and roll a stealth check with advantage, if you please.
It is not letting me roll for some reason.
Well, that's odd. Is it giving you like an error or anything? Ah, there
Oh,
we
I
go.
guess it just had a lag. Oof.
Uh-huh. Okay, okay. So we have a 7. Remember, you can always use your inspiration to re-roll that if you'd like.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and uncheck your inspiration and just go ahead and re-roll it.
Do you still want it at advantage or no?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. 21. Perfect. Okay.
Otherwise, I'd just be loudly going, meow, meow.
Right. So the ship continues to operate normally. Wreck at some point, Antarius approaches you, and he mentions that you will be on the second shift. So essentially, there is a rotating shift that takes place 3 times per day. There's a first shift, a second shift, and a third shift. Everyone that's currently present in the scene, this is considered the first shift. Second shift is the second 4-hour period during the day, or I'm sorry, the second 8-hour period during the day. Third shift is the overnight shift, which will contain a bunch of the other crew who we don't see pictured currently. They're asleep. So the day starts to come to an end. We actually transition to our darkness here. So cool. Also, I think the ship looks really cool at night. You all notice that when shift change occurs, somebody goes and rings the bell and calls it out, and one of the other crew members will go below deck to call out to those who are currently sleeping. Shift change! And there's a doom. Shift change. Doom. And the crew will rotate. So let me do a little bit of setup real quick. Can we cut to BRB for this? So night falls, and you all proceed down to the bar, as is mostly the custom. Ian Fear, you post up in one of the corners. I'll let you guys move your tokens around as you see fit. Misko, I've placed you at a table across from your current competitor, Mr. Kildrak Evermead, who sits across from you. He's got kind of a hoarse voice, but he's kind of he seemed very interested in taking you on for that championship title. The rest of the first shift has mostly proceeded to the bar. There are other various crew members who sort of come through. Most of them tend to stick to the mess above deck, and because it's close by bed and all of that. Ian Fear, what kind of tricks are you performing?
I think for this first night, it's basically going to be like shell game type stuff.
Yeah.
Only, yeah, no, I think it's just going to essentially be like shell game stuff. So it's like produce 3 cups with like a ball underneath one of them, and see if someone can try to follow it closely. That kind of stuff.
Oh, Tess is so down for that.
Terrius and Val both hop over the bar. They start pouring up drinks. Val occasionally downs one himself. Yeah, Ian Fear, you're in the corner performing, and a crowd starts to gather around you. Right next to you plops down kind of a younger human. This is Drea. She is adorned in various jewelry. She's wearing quite a lot of it, actually. Multiple rings on fingers, multiple necklaces. None of them look especially fancy, however. She was dressed as such when she came on board. I just figured it would be worth bringing up again. Across from you, Poe is one of the sailors that you met back at the Jaunty Ladle Tavern. He stands across the table watching intently as you perform your tricks, as though he's analyzing, trying to figure out how you do them. Against the wall, a tiefling, one of Bogram's crew, sort of leans, seemingly not very interested in what else is going on in the room. The healer, what is their name? Eliza, posts up at the bar, very casually sips on an ale and eats of some various foodstuffs. Serene, what are you doing here? Are you getting something to eat? You gonna stay at the bar? Are you gonna go sit at the table?
Yeah, so Serene is at the bar. Can I see the menu again? Or is it available to me?
Really, it's kind of anything you'd like. They have a lot of fish on board. They've got various breads, cheeses, wines, ale, stout,
Okay.
all different sorts of meats. There isn't really like a menu of things that are already prepared because everybody's kind of working in shifts.
Okay.
It's kind of whatever you'd like.
So in that case, Serene will ask for some raspberries and some milk and maybe a little bit of butter with honey.
Valphalin nods. Nice and easy, yes. And he begins to pull everything out of the stores. Raspberries. And he looks over at Antarius, and his brow sort of cocked. Upstairs, you'll find them in the cellar there. Ah, yes. I'll be right back then. And he pops out, goes up the stairs, and vanishes for a little bit. Tess, what are you up to?
Tess is very interested in the shell game that Ian Fear has displayed on the table, ready to play. She approaches the table and sets down this huge mug of ale that she's been sipping on and says, let Tess give this a try. How do we play?
Oh, it is quite easy. I will place a ball underneath one of these cups, and all you have to do is just keep an eye out for the correct one. I should point out as well, it's not just like shuffling around like along the table, like where he moves them around real fast. He's also doing like cup stacking tricks in addition.
Easy peasy dragon squeezy. Let's give this a try. And Tess gets ready to try her best to watch these amazing cup tricks that Ian Fear is about to pull out. What do I need to roll to try and follow the, I guess, the ball or whatever it is?
I'll let you roll a perception check. Yeah, let's go with a perception check.
Okay.
Keep in mind if you have anything that would give you advantage on said check, let me know.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just going to roll normal.
Okay. We have an 18. An 18. So, in fear. Are you firstly, are you playing fair? Are you manipulating this game in any way?
I think to start off, he plays fair. Maybe later on, if things are like with more intense stakes, maybe he doesn't play as fair. But
Okay.
in the beginning, it's among friends.
All right. So your perception check, just to be clear, Tess, was not about the cup tricks themselves, but about trying to figure out where the, essentially where the was it a ball ends up?
Yeah, essentially, it's a foam ball.
Okay, you got a little foam ball.
So I found the ball.
So let me see here. So we have a, yeah, I'd say first round. Tess is able to isolate which one of these three has the ball underneath it. Ian Fear, you pick up the cup, and there it is.
Tess cheers and kind of stands up, propping her leg up on one of the chairs, and says, "Tess did it. She found the ball. Pull around on me. Let's go again."
And Fear will be like, incredible. Keeping a good eye on track. We'll definitely need some sharp eye for these travels.
Poe kind of looks up at you from the end of the table, and he cocks his eyebrow. He sort of cracks a slight grin and continues watching silently. Valphalin comes back down the stairs, hops back over the bar, and in front of you, Serene places down a bowl of raspberries and a glass of milk.
Serena also asked for butter. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh yes, that's there too. That's there too.
She would make a little joke about it, but a little joke. Excuse me, I would like my butter, sir. But then just laughs. And then she's going to start dipping the raspberries in the butter. I'm assuming that that's something that might look a little bit weird to other people, but she really likes it, so she's gonna start eating. And
It's sort of a creamy butter, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Rec, did you go above deck, or did I not drag you in?
Yeah, I moved myself back up to the deck.
Oh,
'cause
I'm sorry, man.
I was working on second shift.
Oh, well, this
No
is
worries.
third. This is third shift at this point, actually.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'm sleeping.
is-
I just worked 2 shifts.
Oh no, you only worked one. The rest of the time you're kind of in your downtime. So you would have probably been fishing and that sort of thing, relaxing. after your shift. So they're 8-hour shifts. You've got the afternoon shift. Okay, so you have the afternoon shift. This is at this point this is the night shift. So usually, the first 2 shifts kind of collect at the bar or they're, sleeping, that sort of thing. So they're going to spend some time, relaxing and preparing for bed and all of that. Yep, sorry about that. I didn't mean to drag you over there. I was like, oh no, I forgot to drag Rec in.
No. I went back up because I thought we were in a different point. Then, yeah, Rex going to, yeah, because he would have spent that first shift following them around, trying to learn how to do the thing. That way, when his shift came up, he could do everything, or at least to the best of his ability. So at this point, yeah, he's going to grab a quick bite, quick drink, before he skulks off to sleep.
During your first official ship on board, they put you with Mr. Kildrak here, who is sitting across from Misku. That is this person right here. Whoa. I'm trying to... This person right here. Should be able to see my drawing. So he kind of speaks in sort of a sort of hoarse kind of voice. He's got a dialect that you're pretty used to. He's got that, that dwarven dialect. But yeah, he seemed very patient with you, and he's definitely had his share of newbies on board. And now his cheeks very rosy. He's had a few drinks, and he's challenged Misku to a bit of arm wrestling for the title, naturally. With that in mind, I'd like Misku once again to roll a strength check, if you please. And again, if you have anything that gives you advantage, thank you. Then please roll that. Okay, so we've got a 10 roll from Kildrak. Oh, and a roll of 6 from Misku. That is round 1. This is the best out of 3, as always. So we'll get right back to that. Kildrak is his name. Okay. Suddenly, whoops, where did you go? Heltheus, you were just in the map room a few moments ago. Looks like you've proceeded back down toward the mirror.
Yes.
At this point, night has fallen. We've reached the 3rd shift of crew. Antarius has let you know that you don't really have like crew duties or anything like that unless you opt in for them. So you otherwise are free to conduct your research and do what you need to do during downtime. What is it that you would like to focus on during your downtime?
1 second. I think I have that in my notes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Let me see. I think I got a lot of notes. During downtime, Heltheus should work on grappling and tumbling.
Grappling and tumbling. So it's very likely, Misku, that you wind up training with Heltheus quite a lot. Given that you both wanted to work on grappling, and Heltheus, you're also sort of becoming used to kind of climbing up on these crates to try to teach yourself how to better tumble from a fall, that sort of thing, or tumble around.
Parkour!
Dalancia, you are on Antarius's shoulder as he sort of mans the bar, and you start to get used to where things are at in there. So when you need to eventually come slink down here and get something other than the bits of meat that they feed you throughout the day, you kind of know where everything's at and can get in here.
Journal entries. What?
What's that?
I'm trying to figure out, because it's been so long since I've actually played on here. I don't remember how to do my spells and stuff.
Double click your character, and it should pull up your character sheet, and you can click on Spellbook, and then click on the dice.
Double click. There we go. Cool. Thank you.
So are you hanging out
Alright.
down with the mirror? Did you want to head up to the bar where everyone's at?
No, I am gonna talk to Skito.
Okay, how do you intend to do that?
Give me 1 second here. Once I find it.
Okay.
Trying to find it. I got a lot of spells to go through. Oh, come on. Here it is. Okay, how do you cast the dang thing?
So you should be
there
able to
we go.
click on the little dice. Yeah, there you go.
Gotcha.
Send a short message of 25 words or less to a creature with which you are familiar. The creature hears the message in its mind, recognizes you as the sender, and if it knows you and can answer in a like manner immediately, the spell enables creatures with intelligence scores of at least 1 to understand the meaning of your message. You can send the message across any distance and even to other planes of existence, but if the target is on a different plane than you, there is a 5% chance that the message doesn't arrive. Okay. So go ahead and roll 1d20, if you please.
Okay, how do I do that?
In the chat, just type /roll 1d20. /roll space 1d20.
Chat. Oh, chat. Here's chat.
Yep.
Okay, so public. What's this? I thought this was a whole lot easier last time I played. Where's my dice?
What?
How do I roll?
So in the chat, type in /roll space 1d20.
What chat?
Over on the right-hand side, if you click on the chat icon, the little 2 dialogue things at the
Right.
very bottom, there's like a chat field. You can type in.
Oh, okay. Didn't know that.
Yep, there you go.
And then what do I type in?
/roll.
Slash roll.
Yeah, /roll space 1d20.
Error.
What?
Roll is not a valid chat message something. I don't know what the last word said.
Worked for me.
Okay, so maybe it's a different slash.
Yeah,
The one that's the question mark slash.
Yeah, that one. I think that's.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. It says error. Roll is not a valid. Yeah, went away. Roll is not a valid chat message command. /roll. Is there like a space between roll and slash?
/roll, all one word, and then space, and then 1d20.
Oh,
Infer is able to do it.
1d20. Well, I didn't put in 1d20. So
Yeah, you got to do 1d20. You got to tell it what you're rolling.
1d20.
So that'll roll
There we
1 time d20 die. Well, let me
Okay.
delete the other 2 since
I
those
could
are
have swore there was a different way that I was doing that.
That's cool. So you rolled a 14. All right. So what is the message that you are sending?
Okay, I'm gonna send it to you on Discord. Hey, get down. Get down. Get down. Go. No, stop.
Is that the message?
No, that's my cat.
Oh no, Yolanthe.
No, stop playing with that. She's like trying to destroy my cords now. Okay, so where are you? Where is...
So the message is a secret otherwise? You can also put it in the chat.
Well, I
here
mean,
and
I just, I don't, I mean, I just, I don't know. Stop it! Let go. Silly cat.
So what's the message?
Hang on, I'm working on it. Okay, so
Remember, you've got 25 words or less on that message.
yeah, that's what I'm kind of. I didn't realize it was that many words. I mean, that less words or whatever. But I can work with that. Now, if you remember, last that I played, I was leaning up against the mirror.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and that's basically what I'm doing now.
Okay.
Skip to my.
Yeah, it's been a few hours since the last part of last session, just so you know.
Okay, no biggie. I just hope that nothing's happened to Skipto so far.
No. Well, you can
I don't
send the
know
message
that.
anyway.
Yeah.
Do you need some time, Heltheus?
I'm just writing it up.
Okay.
I don't even. Yeah, give me some time because I'm probably gonna have to shorten it.
Okay. So while you are doing that, everyone who is in the bar, suddenly a Bogram storms down the stairs angrily and approaches the bar. He kind of slams his hands onto the counter and he says, "Captain, I have had an item stolen from me. Okay. Thank you for putting that in the chat. Slams his hands down on the counter. He says, "Captain, I've had an item stolen from me, and I want to know what you're going to do about it." And Darius sort of approaches him. You've had an item stolen? Did I not make myself clear? He sort of mumbles, speaks in a very low voice, and he's obviously very angry. Everyone that's within eye shot, you can probably see this, Rek and Serene, as he's leaning over the bar talking.
Agitated.
Yeah, agitated, but trying to not be very obvious about it otherwise. Not doing a very good job of that, I might add. What was stolen? He sort of rolls his eyes. An earring. And I would very much like it back.
You stop it.
Hey, Heltheus, can you put yourself on push to talk? I'm getting a lot of background noise from you.
We're getting a ton of background noise, man. He sort of turns to each of the people next to him, and before anybody can interject, he picks up Adam, who is next to him, and like by the collar, and he says, "I know it was you. Give it back."
At this point, does everyone in the bar just kind of notice this? Like,
Yeah, everybody noticed this, yeah.
okay.
He wasn't being very discreet. He's just trying to be.
Tess is going to lock onto Bogram holding this person up, and then she's going to stand up but not do anything yet.
Serena's
And-
gonna kind of like scoot over, like to like move out of the way of these guys.
Adam is sort of a very scrawny individual. And upon being picked up, they don't seem to they seem to sort of squirm about, but not being able to, fight back, or, well, they don't attempt to fight back or anything like that. Valphalin, noticing what's going on, sort of leans over the bar toward the both of them, and Antarius steps in. Put them down. Do you have any evidence that Adam here stole your earring? He huffs. Drops Adam down to the floor. Adam slips and, upon hitting the floor, tumbles over the bar stool and lands on their butt.
Tess is going to rush over and help them to their feet. Are you okay?
Their eyes shift around. Never seeming to make direct eye contact with you. They look rather afraid, and they don't say anything.
Is this person's ears noticeably pierced? Can Tess tell?
Sure, yeah, they've got piercings.
Okay. Looking to Bogram, Tess is going to say, "Now that was quite rude. Do you at least have the other earring? Is this a pair? What does the earring look like?"
It's not a pair. It is a simple brass earring. Nothing fancy.
Then why be so violent over it? You're trying to hurt people. You don't even have any evidence that they have your earring. It's ridiculous.
Look at him. He's scrawny. He slinks in the shadows. It's disgusting.
Yolanthe hisses.
That kitty knows exactly what to say in this purpose here. Tess is going to point at the hissing kitty. And then say to Adam, "Kid friend, why don't you come sit over here with Tess, Miscu, and Ianfir?" And she'll try to, like, motion to this person to get them to move away.
Adam gets up from the table and follows you.
And just have them take a seat. I don't know. Yeah, right there. Just to get them away from Bogram.
When they sit down, Kildrak sort of looks over. He shakes his head and he kind of pushes the remainder of his ale over toward Adam. There you go, lad.
Oh, yes, good point. Antarius or Val, could we get another round for everyone over here on this side? Tess will gladly pay.
Ale or stout?
Stout.
He fills up a few mugs and hops over the bar and approaches you. As he's passing the drinks out, he sort of leans over the table. A little early on in the trip to have a thief on board, hey?
How do we know that the earring isn't simply underneath Bogram's bed or got misplaced somewhere?
That's a good point. We don't. Either way, I can't operate a ship with a crew that doesn't trust each other. I'd be very grateful if you could, discreetly figure out what's going on here. Just do your best to keep the peace. That's all I ask.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Thank you. I'll be getting back behind the bar. Just let me know if you need anything. And, Tess, put your money away.
Oh, okay, okay.
He goes back behind the bar.
Lanthi's gonna kind of slowly slink from his shoulder to Tess's shoulder.
Okay. So as he's standing there, Yolanthe, you kind of climb across the table and hops up on your shoulder, Tess.
Oh, hello, kitty. And Tess is going to dish out some chin scritches to the kitty. You're a friendly one. Tess really likes you.
Heltheus, you place your hand against the mirror and focus on sending this message out to Scritto. Something inside your mind and in the fabric of reality tells you that your message arrived successfully, and it's only a matter of time until you have a response, although you don't know how that response will arrive.
Hey, Captain.
Hey, Rek.
What is the what do y'all normally do if someone's accused of something?
You know, that's a good question. I've never had this sort of thing happen aboard one of my vessels, but this is a special circumstance. I'm only accustomed to mercenary ships, that sort of thing, and usually the amount of money that you put down dictates the behavior of your crew. I'm a noble, so I can usually pay my crew quite well. And that pays for a certain level of loyalty among most folk.
All right, I just wasn't sure. I mean, back in the tribes, depending on what kind of confrontations we had, sometimes it was done by strength of arm or maybe by trading an item of an equal value to settle the differences. Just
Bogram
wondering.
once again slams his hands down on the bar. Are you telling me that you're not going to do anything about this? And Antarius looks up at him. Quite the contrary. Bogram, return to your quarters. We'll take care of it.
Test.
Yep, now I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
So I wasn't touching the mirror. I was leaning up against it, and knowing that he got the message, I'm gonna continue leaning up against the mirror.
Okay. Leaning how? Like your shoulder, your back?
Yeah, it's kind of like back, kind of like cool little stance, Just got my arms crossed, leaning up against the freaking mirror.
Okay. Yeah, cool. Give me a little bit of time to formulate how that goes down. I'll get right back to you, Heltheus. But that is to
No
say
worries.
that you send your message, you know in your sort of your mind's eye that it has been received, and it's just a matter of time until you get some kind of response,
Great.
no matter what that response might be.
Cool. All right. I'll continue doing what I was doing just a moment ago.
With another deep huff, Bogram storms back up the stairs and vanishes, stomping his feet. You
Rek,
all. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Rek.
Rek heads up to follow him.
Oh, okay. So as you sort of follow behind him, you see him walk into the quarters here on the right-hand side.
All right. Did he
You're
leave the
approaching
door open?
Oh yeah, he left the door wide open.
All right.
There are several beds in here, so this is sort of like a multi-quarters. Like he doesn't really have like his own personal space or anything like that, but he does have a bed that he's claimed, and he's claimed the one here in the corner. It seems he's laid back on it, and he's sort of staring into the ceiling, mumbling to himself.
I'll
Like-
do a quick rap at the door frame coming up to it.
Okay, so you knock on the door as you're approaching.
Yeah. Hey, Bogram, got a minute?
He looks up at you. He mumbles something rather incoherent, but then stands up or sits up from the bed, stands and approaches you in the doorway.
All right,
Yeah.
I'm not really interested in having a thief on board, but can you tell me more about the earring so I can keep an eye out?
It's a simple brass small loop earring. Looks a lot like this when he shows you his ear, where he's actually got a sort of similar silver earring. It's just sort of a simple loop earring. Not much to it. Probably not very valuable.
Okay, so no symbols or anything super discerning.
Yeah, it doesn't. It looks pretty standard.
Okay.
He says,
Well,
"Look, the earring was a gift. That's really all that's relevant. It has sentimental value, and I need it back."
all right. I can understand that. Wouldn't wanna lose something important to you. I'll keep an eye out. And if I see anything hinky, I'll be sure to bring it up.
Can you roll a charisma check, please?
Yeah, 1 second. Just a plain charisma?
Just plain charisma.
Okay, this is terrible. Yeah.
That's okay. We have an 11.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to spend 2 sorcery points to use my bend luck skill.
I don't know if you can, because you cannot see him currently. They're on a different level of the ship.
Oh, okay.
I believe your target needs to be within your eyesight to be able to do that. I don't know. Does your spell say otherwise? Let me take a look at that roll. Because I think you have to both have knowledge of the action, which would mean that you would need to know what's going on, which would mean you need to be, which would imply you'd need to be there, right? At least that's kind of the way I think it would work. And luck. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it says when another creature you can see. Yeah, so you currently can't see him. However, Rek, Bogram takes a deep breath and sighs. I suppose if there's anyone on this ship I can trust, it would be you. All right. Just let me know what happens, okay?
Sure thing. I know if something of mine went missing, I'd be pretty upset too. So, all's fair. I'll keep an eye out.
He looks a little hesitant, but he nods. Thanks. And he proceeds back
All
to his bed, where he lays back down, staring at the ceiling, mumbling to himself. Equally, when he was storming out, you all probably heard him mumbling kind of loudly to himself. Seems to do that a lot.
Okay. After that, Rek looks around the room. Can he make out anyone else who's staying there? Just there's one person in there?
There are 2 people in here. Both of them just appear to be, general crew currently. But obviously there are other beds in here that are likely taken up by other crewmates.
Okay. Well, then after that, he's gonna head back down to join everybody else up for finish his meal.
Right. So you come back upstairs. The bar's grown a bit on the quiet side after what has transpired here, but slowly everything begins to return to normal. Valphalin, as the bar starts to sort of die down in activity, approaches the table. Well, that's a bit much more excitement than I'm used to out on the ocean.
Tess kind of mutters to, I guess, the people in the immediate area, the kitty included. Tess never suspected that a thief would be upon board so fast. Do you think perhaps some of the rats could be involved? And she looks at the kitty on her shoulder. You need to be doing double duty, little one.
Yolanthe does whatever the cat equivalent of cracking your knuckles is.
She shows her claws off real quick. Either way, Yenfir, let us resume. 5 gold coins says I can guess where the ball is this time as well.
Yolanthe, roll a performance check, please.
My rolls suck tonight.
This cat seems to have a... Oh, never mind. No, you're fine, Yolanthe. Fine. Do you suspect anyone?
Tess never likes to point fingers. If Tess were to take a guess, it could be a rat that maybe has an obsession with shiny objects.
Interesting.
Otherwise, and Tess turns around, Misku, you don't have an obsession with shiny earrings, do you?
Misku just like kind of raises an eyebrow, shrugs. Not particularly.
Tess didn't think so.
Overhearing your conversation, Drea stands up from the table. Wait, what's your dialect? Oh, doesn't have one. I'd better get to bed. It's been a long day, and sort of goes back upstairs and vanishes.
Now Tess would be lying if she were to say that that's not a little suspicious.
The tiefling, overhearing that, suddenly walks over and sits down next to you. Ian Fear leans over the table towards you, Tess, and says, "Isn't it obvious? Look at all the jewelry that she's wearing. How could it not be her?"
Tess is not so quick to put blame on people like that. Getting up and leaving is a little suspicious, but Tess believes there's some good in everyone here. How do we know it's not you? And she points at the tiefling and kind of laughs.
Poe, the Trix having stopped, he sort of walks back toward the bar and takes a seat next to Eliza. "Another ale, please." He sort of starts to sway this way and that. Obviously, the effects of the alcohol taking place. Heltheus, let me come back to you for just a moment here. Leaning up against the mirror, your back toward the mirror, you start to notice movement through the mirror. can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So I see movement on where? What do I see movement?
It's on the other side of the mirror. You just detect movement. Your back's toward it right now, so.
All right. Well, I'll kind of still lean up against the mirror, but kind of like turn my head and look out at my peripherals.
It's very vague, but on the other side, a silhouette. It's actually rather hard to see through your own reflection, but it is most definitely there.
I wonder if this is my friend. Yeah, so I'm going to continue leaning up against the mirror.
All right. Let's say a few seconds pass. The mirror begins to do its rippling effect. And
Okay, so while it does its rippling effect, I'm leaning up against the mirror. Do I go through or?
yes, actually, I'd like you to roll a dexterity save.
Okay. I gotta type it in.
Yeah, suddenly the mirror becomes quite, it becomes unsolid, let's say, and you start to lose your footing and almost fall through it. Almost.
Plus. Okay, so where's the plus? Where's my character sheet? Oh, this thing. Okay,
What sort of?
so wait, abilities, right? Yeah. Dex
Yeah,
plus
oh,
2,
right,
so 15.
Yep. Yeah, cool. Okay, so you kind of knowing what's going to happen, or kind of anticipating that that's going to happen, you maintain your footing. You sort of stand up, but you know at this point that you could pass through the mirror.
Okay, I want to do that.
You actually want to go through the mirror.
Yes.
Okay. So Heltheus, I'm going to have to address that next time. I don't currently have that map loaded, so
Okay.
I will get to that next time. So
All right.
Heltheus, you vanish through the mirror.
I am off the ship.
Yes, you are off the ship.
Okay.
All right, back on board, and in the in the bar area. The tiefling sort of scoffs at you, Tess. I don't know how much more telegraphed you would want such a case. She's literally wearing a bunch of very similar jewelry.
And Tess also looks like a tiny demon, but Tess definitely isn't, so you can't base everything off of looks, my friend.
You are a tiny demon.
Oh, you're funny.
When Tess says that, Yolanthe kind of looks around the room very much like,
She sort of sighs. This is hopeless.
Tess is sure that we're going to find that earring. Anyway, and she turns around to Miscu. Miscu, how is the arm wrestling going?
Yes. Go ahead and roll for round 2, Miscu. After that brief pause with everything that happened with Bogram, I suppose you're eager to continue.
Yeah.
Let's get a opposing strength check here. And the second round, just like that, is yours. So, you both line up, and you sort of easily just defeat him.
I don't know. Misku's doing this with her right hand, and her offhand, she's still smoking her pipe. so she's not bracing the table or anything. So as soon as Tess asks how it's going, Misku slams his hand down to the table and just exhales a large cloud of smoke, going, "It's going great now."
Ugh. It's got to be this, this alcohol I've had. I'm getting, feeling pretty tipsy at this point.
Yolanthe
more.
leans in to get a good sniff of the smoke.
It's got a very musty, sort of woody kind of smell. At first, it's very harsh on the first scent, but everything thereafter, you kind of quickly become accustomed to it, and it becomes less offensive, let's say.
This is going to make Tess kind of stare at the cat on her shoulder and say, usually Tess sees kitties shy away from smoke like that, and she's going to kind of investigate or stare down the kitty a little bit more because she still had these feelings like she may know this kitty.
Eyes narrow.
Yeah.
Yolanthe, you definitely notice Tess taking sort of more of a notice to you.
Do I roll an investigation?
Hey, you can roll an investigation. I'd say this kind of thing is ongoing, but go ahead and roll it. 14.
Do I have to roll an opposing? I'm just a cat.
Yep, that will be your performance check, if you please. Go ahead and roll another performance check.
Oh, I am the cattest of cats.
This cat is just somehow interested by this smell. Obviously, it's weird. Maybe it's like a catnip sort of thing for that cat. This cat.
Tess smiles and says, maybe Tess is a little too paranoid about people coming on the ship. You're just a good kitty. And she gives the little chin scritches again. Oh, what a cutie.
Malphalin walks over and kind of plops down in the seat next to you, pulls out a pipe, and begins also smoking.
Oh yes, back to our game. 5 gold coins says Tess can find where the ball is again, Ianfear.
Ianfear, it's been almost an hour and you haven't had a single drink. Can I get you an ale?
No, I need to keep my senses sharp, especially for this game.
Okay.
Tess is going to toss 5 gold coins down on the table and get ready to watch the ball again.
Ianfear?
Okay. I mean, he's gonna raise an eyebrow a bit at seeing the coins, but he says, "All right, well, let's see if you still keep as sharp an eye with all the smoke and stuff coming around." He's gonna go back and do his performances again.
All right. If you want to, you can always feel free to send me a private message in the chat there. Actually, I'm not even sure how you would send a private message. You can always send me one in Discord, though, if you're intent on fudging these numbers. All right. You can, I think, set your role to being private, though. So if you want to roll for, anything, you can always set it to private. So Ianfear begins to shuffle these cups. I'll let that play out.
Big money, no dammies.
So go ahead and roll a perception check. Pass.
I think for this, I'm gonna go ahead and use the bend luck skill
Okay.
and give, and I'm gonna use it as a minus.
Okay. Go ahead and roll it. It appears Ian Fear just won 5 gold.
After he lifts up the cup, Tess is going to like stare dumbfoundedly at the table and say, "But Tess could have sworn." Well, fair enough. And she'll slide the coins over to Ian Fear's side.
Oh, have no worries. It was all the smoke coming in from Miscu.
Tess agrees. Her eyes are starting to burn just a little bit, starting to feel a little funny, lightheaded. Is Poe approaching the table again?
Yeah, Poe approaches the table. He's eyebrow cocked. He's once again interested in what's going on here.
Would you like to try, my friend? She'll motion toward Poe.
He raises a hand and shakes his head quietly. Just, watchings.
Perhaps Val would like to try?
Well, I've never been one to gamble, I'm afraid. This is on you, Tess. Miscu, go ahead and roll another strength check as the final round of your championship title. Woo. So you basically like toss Kildrak over and he just kind of topples out of his chair. And he hits the floor with a thud. Adam kind of stands up with their drink, like kind of shocked and trying not to get taken down with him.
Miscu, still with her pipe in her offhand, flexes with her wrestling hand, just looks up to the ceiling, smiling.
Well, it appears Miscu is still the reigning champion of arm wrestling aboard.
Antharius, let's get another round over here to celebrate Miscu's strength.
Coming right up. Starts to fill some more mugs and hops over the table and heads over with
All right, 10 more gold coins, Ian Fear says that I can guess it this time. And Tess will throw down 10 more gold coins to try and find the ball under the cup. It's clear that Tess is getting a little addicted to this game.
Okay.
Okay. So if you will say, well, since you seem determined to test your skills, all right, we can give this another shot for you.
Ian Fear starts to shuffle the cups. Go ahead and roll a perception check.
Tess looks at the kitty sitting on her shoulder and says, "Wish Tess luck."
Now, what is Yolanthe doing? Is Yolanthe watching this too?
Yolanthe's sneaking puffs off of both Val and Miscue's smokes.
Yolanthe, you start to feel kind of funny. It's almost like being tired, but at the like all of your muscles begin to relax.
Nice.
Right, we got a 16 from Tess.
I'm just laying there flopped over Tess's shoulders like a scarf.
Okay. So you're not paying attention to the game at all, are you?
Not really.
Okay. You see him sort of shuffle these cups around and very quickly.
Serene, jump in for a second.
Yeah. What's up, Serene?
So Serene, first of all, I'm not sure if this would work, but I just wanted to see if I could do like a perception to see if Ian Fear is cheating.
Oh yeah, if
or
you want to
like
walk over to the table and roll a perception to watch closely, that's fine. Or if you've got some other ability that might show you.
I don't have another ability like that, but I have minor illusion, which I'm thinking if I can tell that he's cheating and she's not gonna win, I want to try to do like a minor illusion of the ball. If that's something I could do.
Yeah, sure. You could throw in a minor illusion of the ball.
Okay. But I wanted to see if Ian Fair was cheating first. So like
Okay. So you want to roll a perception check then?
yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and roll it.
Um,
Got a 12. That's okay. Ian Fear, your call.
So, I mean, this definitely looks like a lot of gold. Well, especially considering what's been going on. But, I think Ian Fear would probably play it straight.
Okay, you're playing this one straight.
okay. Well, cool. If he's gonna be if she can't tell, or anything like that, then she's not gonna try to do an illusion, but she was just gonna do that if she could suspect that he were cheating.
He seems to be playing it straight.
Cool. So she's just gonna chill and see what happens.
Okay. See, in Fear, you shuffle the cups. Go ahead and roll a... Actually, let me... Go ahead and roll a sleight of hand for shifting the cups around. Now, we'll kind of make it a game of that. Sleight of hand versus Tess's perception, and anyone else who's watching as well.
Okay. I'm gonna use my Tides of Chaos ability to give myself advantage on this.
Okay. Works for me. $24. Very nice. It seems pretty straightforward. He doesn't seem to do anything shifty, as far as you can tell. Serene and Tess doesn't seem to do anything shifty, anything like that. He just seems to maneuver the cups around. You choose one of the cups, and he lifts it up, and there's nothing underneath.
She puts both of her hands up on her head. Tess could have sworn she was following the ball perfectly. Well, fair enough. Here you go, Ian Fear. And she'll slide over the gold pieces to him.
Ian Fear will say, "Don't feel too bad. I've been doing this since I was in the single age, so I've had plenty of practice."
Fair enough.
Interesting. I've often read books of street magicians. I wonder, did you spend a lot of time doing this sort of thing?
Oh, yes. Well, not a lot of time. I would say I certainly paid my library fees in any way using this skill, though.
Interesting. Perhaps we should have a chat about this sometime. What do you think about our thief on board, now that we've got a bit more privacy?
I find it very unusual that we're not even a day into our journey and there's already been a theft that's occurred, because usually if something like that were to happen, it would be within the last moments, right before disembarking, because it would provide the clean getaway opportunity.
Indeed. That stands to reason. I don't imagine it's anyone in present company. Al just seems very thoughtful about the entire thing. What about you all? Anyone you suspect?
Tess doesn't see a bad bone or bad motivation in anyone, to be honest. Don't feel like Tess really knows the whole crew well enough to make a judgment such as this.
Val, looks over at you. Rex stands up and, walks over. Might I disturb you? Eliza says, I was just leaving anyway. Have a good night. And proceeds up the stairs. Rex, you still with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
He gestures for you to sort of follow him back over to the table.
All right. Proceed.
I noticed that you followed Bogram before. Were you able to glean anything from him?
Well, it seems like just a regular bass ring, not a big deal, but as far as valuable, but it seemed to have some sentimental attachment to it.
Why would
So-
someone steal something that was not of high monetary value?
I don't know. Maybe they wanted to piss Bogram off.
Who would want to start a fight with Bogram on the ship? In such close quarters at that. It seems stressful.
Yeah, sometimes people just got bad bones and they like it. Or
Perhaps-
maybe there's some underlying factor, something we're not seeing.
Perhaps we
Again,
shouldn't.
we don't
rule
know
out
everybody.
Perhaps we shouldn't rule out the girl with the jewelry. If they are some sort of a collector, it would stand to reason that they might take such an item.
But look at this person with all their jewelry. It's all fancy. Were they even wearing any brass to begin with?
Yes, they were. They were wearing mostly cheap jewelry, actually. Well, actually, all cheap jewelry. None of it looked very ornate or like didn't have any jewels in it or anything like that. But they had a lot of it.
Tess just thinks that that would be the obvious choice.
Indeed. And if you were going to commit thievery, why would you telegraph it as such? Although I have to admit, she did leave in quite a hurry.
I do have a bit of an idea that's floating in my head.
Oh?
So, from our travels, we know that I am carrying this dagger, which also has sentimental value to me, but also it has the special jewel within it that allows me to bring it back at our command. Perhaps we lay it out to see if the thief tries to take it.
As good a plan as any.
Tess feels it could work. But we also don't know where the earring disappeared. Where was it last seen? Perhaps we should speak with Bogram next time we come across him. Get some more details on where the earring was last seen. who knows it is of sentimental value to him.
Adam sort of sinks into their chair a little bit quietly, sipping on the ale that's in front of him. In front of them. Hmm. This is an interesting case. So early into our voyage, I hope this doesn't become a problem. Either way, do we want to attempt Ianvir's plan?
Tess thinks it's worth a shot, but if that person were to be in the same room, they would hear of this plan and maybe not fall for it.
Very true. Should we gather elsewhere?
Tess turns to Adam and says, Bogram was quick to throw the blame at you, my friend. Any reason behind that?
They shrug. And continues staring into their ale, never making eye contact with you.
We could meet elsewhere. In the meantime, though, Tess does need to go check on something real quick. She'll kind of squeeze by everyone. She's gonna go back to the mirror room and check on both the mirror and Heltheus.
Heltheus has been in there for some time, hasn't he?
I don't know how to get back to the mirror room, to be honest.
Okay, so go downstairs.
How?
Or go upstairs, I mean.
Oh, there. Okay.
Just like that. Yeah, you can just walk into that spot on really quick. So yeah, go up to the map. Yep, there you go. You've got it.
Tess enters the room and she sees her bedroll laid out, but she notices the Heltheus isn't there.
Yeah, Heltheus does not appear to be here. Yolanthe, are you coming along with Tess for this?
Sure.
Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and move you into that.
I'm still just
space.
kind of draped over your shoulders like a little rug.
Little stoned kitty.
So yeah, as Tess climbs down the ladder, you notice that Heltheus is not here. Interesting.
Now Tess wonders where Heltheus has gone off to. She'll approach the mirror and she'll investigate it.
The mirror actually still seems to be, what's the word I'm looking for? In its open state, and as you place your hand to it, it passes through, much to your surprise.
Shimmering.
Yeah, it's like shimmering, but it's not solid. It's like air almost. You just kind of like pass straight through it.
Oh, she's kind of surprised by it. She'll brace her hand on the side of the mirror and then try to poke her head in, but hold on to the mirror to brace herself so she doesn't get sucked in.
At this point, Heltheus, you, after sort of going through the mirror, you see Tessa's face poke through the other side. Now, what you both see on the other side of the mirror is like a small stone room, probably 15 to 20 feet across, like probably about 15 to 20 by 15 to 20, with a very prominent looking chair sitting directly across from the other side of this mirror. In the room, you see Scriteau, who has kind of surprised to see you both there. Well, except for you. He's surprised to see Tess. He's not as surprised to see Heltheus.
But Tess can plainly see Scriteau and Heltheus on the other side.
Yes. Scriteau sort of backs up toward the door. He looks rather panicked over the entire ordeal.
Greetings, friend. Heltheus, how on earth did you get in here?
Heltheus is 1 sec.
And Scrito, my friend, how are you? Good times? Bad times?
The lady.
Test.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Gotcha. All right. So, yay. So, do I see Skato now?
Yes, you see Scrito. You did as soon as you pop through the mirror as well. Like I said, this is about a 20-foot by 15-foot whereabout room.
Is it lit?
It's lit by the mirror itself, but otherwise it's pretty dark in here.
Okay.
Scrito has backed up to the door, and he looks rather panicked by the entire thing.
It's okay, my friend. I'm here to help.
He sort of backs into the out the door and looks either direction. The lady.
Where's my
The lady
I need my
is coming.
character? Or is she always
Lady.
here?
Scrito repeats, "The lady is coming," just as if Tess had said it.
Ooh, that's not something could probably be said.
He sort of comes back over to you, Heltheus, and pushes you toward the mirror.
Where are we?
Heltheus, Tess does not think that this is the time to be asking questions. You should come back through the mirror. This is not safe. This is not safe for us or Scrito.
Scrito repeats, exactly as Tess said it. "This is not safe."
Still bracing one hand on the mirror, Tess is like, she has her left hand up on the mirror. She's going to extend her right hand to Heltheus and say, "Here, come with Tess."
Have I been,
Did you bring the
been
map?
put through the mirror too?
Yeah, you can poke your head through. You can. You're right on Tess's shoulder, so you can easily poke your head through to look.
Oh, okay. Then in that case, I take the look around and my eyes get huge and my fur gets all floofed out.
You can see inside this all stone room. You've never seen anything like it before in your life. There is a very large chair in this room that appears to be planted right in front of the mirror, as if somebody could sit on the other side and watch through to your side.
Yes, it's like a television.
Yeah, very much. Yeah, it's a good analogy.
I know you said it's dark. Is there anything that I, in my cat eyes, can see?
You can actually see. You can see around pretty clearly, just given the light that's being emanated by the mirror. But other than the there are various symbols upon the floor, the chair in the center. Other than that, the room seems to be very old-looking stone and is otherwise unremarkable.
Is it dark because it's nighttime, or is it dark because there's no windows or flame or anything?
Yeah, there's no windows. The ceiling of this place is made of the same stone that lines the floors. Yeah, Healthy, so you get the distinct idea that you're not in the same plane of existence.
Okay. Skato, did you bring the map?
Matt?
Huh. All right, so I go back through the mirror.
So Healthiest takes your hand, Tess, and you pull him back through.
Before she pulls to the other side of the mirror, she's going to lock eyes with Scrito and say, "Stay safe, my friend." And then she's going to pull back out of the mirror.
As you are pulling back out of the mirror, Scrito says, "Scrolls."
Scrolls. Nobody said scrolls. So he had to tell us that.
I believe he had handed you scrolls in a previous thing. They had some kind of words on them that you were trying to discern at some point.
Yeah.
Is that The
I
map.
don't think we've discerned the scrolls quite yet, though. But Tess is going to make a mental note.
That's probably the map that I'm asking for. It's gonna tell us the city name or something.
As you come through the mirror, Heltheus, you find that upon reaching the other side, the mirror reverts to its solid form.
Scrolls? I'll ask Tess.
Can you go ahead and roll a...
Go ahead. Bring it.
Go ahead and roll an insight check, if you please.
Okay. Let's see. How did you do that again? Slash 1d20. Okay, now I'll double click on my guy.
So if you double
Insight,
click if you double click your character, you can actually click the word insight, and it'll roll it with the proficiency and your
Yeah, that's
modifier.
how it was. I knew there was an easier way of doing that.
Yeah, just click on insight, and it'll ask if you want to roll with advantage, normal, disadvantage. Yeah, there you go.
That sucks. I had a better roll.
If you want, you are totally welcome to use your inspiration to re-roll that.
Yes, I do.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and uncheck your inspiration and go ahead and re-roll your insight check.
Normal. That sucks.
Oof. That's okay. That is totally okay. Yeah. So you step through the mirror, reverts to its solid form. And yeah, at this point, all three of you who are present have seen the other side of this, of the mirror and the plane that lies beyond it, with its icy, cold stone rooms, its dark hallways, and its dark hallway beyond the door, and the solitary chair keeping a constant vigilance over the goings on in your plane. Its purpose, although somewhat clear, remains to be seen.
Yeah, after seeing the chair and coming back through the other side, Tess is going to, almost in a panic, start looking around the room for any long blankets or curtains we may have to
Cloak.
try and...
I was thinking of a cloak.
Yeah, to try and
but a
cover the
blanket-
mirror. And if there are no
blanket would be
blankets,
good.
and if there are no blankets or curtains around, she will pull off her her hood and try to cover the mirror.
Okay.
How about in that map room? Is there you said there was a carpet, right?
Yeah, but the carpet's hiding the door.
Yeah.
If you pull that carpet, it's going to reveal the door to anyone.
Tess does have a long cloak that she
Well,
keeps on. She
technically,
can take
no.
off the cloak and she can cover the mirror with it.
Yeah.
Double-
So you can do exactly that. You remove your cloak. No, she's still wearing robes. She just takes her cloak and places it over the mirror.
Cool. That'll work for now.
And she'll look toward Heltheus and say, "We're being watched. Heltheus, how did you get in there?"
So I'm looking at Tess going, what scrolls?
The scrolls that Tess was given by Scriteau to discern whatever language is in them. Tess
Yeah,
is it's a work in progress.
It's been a few weeks, but since our last session, but you do remember that Scriteau had handed her some scrolls that you guys were all working. You were there for that.
Okay.
Like I said, it's been a couple weeks. Yeah, you guys were intent on looking at it, but it's only been a matter of hours. It's been about a day since that happened, and you just
Do you
haven't
guys
had
still
time to
have
do
the
it yet.
scrolls?
Yeah, Tess does. It's a work in progress for her.
Okay, well, I think we're on a ship on a voyage that's probably going to take some time, so that'd probably be a good little thing to do.
Yeah, that's exactly what Tess is going to be working on. Yeah.
All right,
Okay,
Rick.
cool.
We'll see you next time, man. Yeah, we're about to close up as well because we are at the end of our session. We will we'll pick up from right here next time, and let's we'll find out what happens with the mirror and everything else.
I was in Matrix.
All right, everybody. So thank you all for tuning in. I hope to see you all next time. Please do be sure to tune in next Sunday, 5 to 7 p.m. Central Time for our next episode of New Dalancia, our Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition campaign. Until then, I am your most humble DM, VG Punks, and friends, and we are signing off. Keep a song in your heart.
Bye.
Who wants a fireball?